development and educators. So if you could do that, that would be wonderful. Let me know if you're able to do that. And what I'd like you to send in will be your associations, your word associations with the words professional development. What does this mean to you? Here's the code again. And if you are in, I'd love for you, I can't see any of you yet there. So if you're having any difficulty, please let me know. The link is again on the screen, ahaslides.com/PDEDU. Are you able to access this? If you can give me a sign.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. It's totally anonymous, but I don't see that anyone is on the screen right now. Just in case, I'm going to change the slide. If you can send in your thoughts. And if you're having any difficulty, please let me know. Is this working? I can't see anything on my end.
Please, can we get the code again? It's demanding for code from my hand.
Okay. Here it is. You can also type up this website on your screen. Are you having trouble, guys? Because I don't see, I just see one person on the slide, which means that many of you are not there.
The problem we are encountering from our side here, for somebody like me, I'm using the same smartphone.
Oh,
that I'm
okay.
using for that. So if I can get the code to do that.
Okay. All right. Is everyone on a phone? There's no one on a laptop or anything else that would allow you to type up your thoughts?
I'm using smartphone.
I'm also on it.
I'm
also using a smartphone.
Okay, so okay. So I'm sorry, there's no chat box. I cannot see your thoughts, and I would love to hear from as many people as possible. So as you see on the screen, some of you associate words like learners, growth, development, lifelong learners, teaching. That's wonderful. Do you have other associations? Maybe you can open up your mics and tell me.
Come again, ma.
Those of you who cannot access the slide, can you tell me?
I'm also using a smartphone, so I can.
Please, can you come again? What was the question, ma?
The question is, what are the words you associate with professional development so that we can achieve common understanding? So I'd like to know what you think of when you hear the words professional development. There are some great words on the screen right now.
Okay, I can say learners, lifelong learners, teaching, growth, development.
Advanced. Okay. Thank you. All right. There we see also a new one, purpose and wealth. Yes. All right. Absolutely. And can you tell me, please, what challenges and barriers do you see in terms of professional development? Is there anything standing in your way? Is there anything complicating matters to you? You can now send in your thoughts. I've just changed slides. Or open your mics and tell me, please. Money, finances, okay. Yes, learning, further development can take time and cost money, absolutely. Is there anything else that may be standing on your way?
Maybe deteriorating health.
Sorry, could you say that again? Time, mostly time?
Deteriorating health.
The first word, I'm sorry, there's a sound in there.
Okay. I mean, health challenges can be.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Health. Okay, I see time twice. So we seem to be strapped for time. Is that right? But I'm sure that we can all think of some benefits that professional development can bring. Procrastination, that's a big one. Please remember that when we talk about these obstacles. Thank you. What are the benefits though? Can you see benefits in developing, continuing your development? Money, so financial reward.
Growth mindset. Growth mindset.
Definitely, yes. We're going to be talking about that, about why that is important. Yes.
Productivity.
Self-confidence. Yeah, productivity. Yeah, and self-confidence. You know, self-confidence comes from competence, and competence comes from training or doing and expanding. So fulfillment, absolutely, yes. So you just mentioned a couple of the obstacles. Oh, prestige, yeah, depending on your titles and degrees, yes. Career development, definitely, and efficiency, absolutely. And we're talking about a lot of things that can get in the way and a lot of things that can be beneficial to us. So our talk today is about understanding the benefits of professional development and also identifying barriers and unhelpful behaviors and factors, the things that get in the way. And also, hopefully, we will develop our self-awareness and find ways to increase our motivation, maybe to pursue more professional development. And this is me. I was introduced before, so I'll make it short. I was born in Buenos Aires, Argentina, and lived in Miami, Florida, and now in Cologne, Germany. And my background is in English and psychology. And you see some of the certifications that I have there. And the virus changed my life. Before the pandemic, I used to travel the world and deliver workshops in 4 different continents. And because of the pandemic, I was grounded. And when I was at home, the best thing I could do to occupy my time was to study and learn and try to develop myself. And my strategy was, to survive the pandemic, and the big changes was to specialize in conflict management. And also I became a certified virtual facilitator to be able to help and deliver workshops a little bit more comfortably online. And I became a coach and a trainer for the topics that you see in the on the right. And I'm now currently completing a certificate in the neuroscience of leadership. And these are some of the organizations around the world that I work with, now mostly virtually, and hopefully soon again, face to face. Can you tell me in your words how you would define the comfort zone? I think we all have a comfort zone. How would you describe it? You can open up your mic and tell me your thoughts. How would you describe that?
Comfort zone is a situation you find yourself or a particular stage of your life. Don't feel like going forward again where you are when you're comfortable, you feel relaxed at that particular point.
Yeah, I'm sorry, the connection is not very strong, so every second word seems to disappear.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel comfort zone is a state where you feel you're comfortable and you're okay and you don't want to do extra to get more. You feel you're okay, you're perfect.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
So
I can
this
say
is the official definition, but the way you say it, that's absolutely correct. This is the place where we feel safe and in control, right? And when we are asked to do something that it may be the first time for us or that stretches our abilities, then we enter in a completely different zone, right? Have you ever been scared of trying to do something new or learning something new or doing something for the first time?
Yes.
So sometimes we find excuses, we call them reasons, but we find excuses and we see the dark side of things so that we can go back to our comfort zone and not forward. If we find the way, and we'll discuss that, to go forward, then we enter the learning zone, right? And that is a place where we do face the challenges, but we're there and we seek opportunities to learn, and we know that learning includes also the possibility of making mistakes. I don't know if you've ever heard Sir Ken Robinson, one of the big names in education, and he said, well, if you never make mistakes, it means that you're never trying to do anything new. So this is the area of problem solving. And once we go through this with the new skills, probably we are now in the growth zone, where we may maybe set ourselves new goals and grow into different directions. If ideally we will find meaning and connect with our purpose and vision. So the question is, what do we need to get out of that place where we feel safe and comfortable and in control and dare to venture into the fear zone so that we can grow and expand? What do you think we need? What could help us?
Determination.
Yes. How do we get that?
Sometimes we
take
still
it-
need ambition.
Yeah, we need to know where we're going before we so determinedly go there. Exactly. So some kind of vision, and then find it in ourselves the reasons why we want to go in that direction, right? That may be connected with our values, with our purpose, or with our goal. And we need to watch out, because one of you mentioned before things that can be difficult or stand in the way, and that would be things connected to a fixed mindset. I don't know if you've heard of this book or Carol Dweck's work and research in this area. She said that some people have this kind of sense that you're either born with a talent or not. So you're born with it or not, you cannot acquire it. And this would be an illustration, which you see on the screen, of this kind of mindset. Someone who says, well, you're either good at it or not. Have you ever caught yourself saying something like that to yourself? Oh, you're not good at this. Have you ever said that to yourself?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, so not all the time, of course, we have areas, right? But it would be a lot more helpful to be on the other side of things, on the growth mindset, which is I can learn and to do anything if I really put myself, my energy, and my time in it. So notice that people with a growth mindset may be inspired by the success of other people, while someone with a fixed mindset will be threatened by someone else's success. And on this side, we also see failure as a big sign that our talents are limited, while on the other side, we consider failure is simply feedback. It just means it didn't work. So how often have you been so far? More on the left or the right?
Sorry, Miss Patricia. The chat
Yeah?
is now on. The chat is on now.
Oh, excellent. Thank you so much. Let me check. Okay, I still cannot see it, but we'll see whether when I stop sharing. Okay. So notice, please, when we are on the left side, on the fixed mindset thing, we don't want to be challenged. We just want to stick to what we know. while on the other side, we know the challenges help us grow and expand our abilities. We like to try new things. And on the left side, we stick to what we know. So there's not a lot of growth and development on the left side. I give up very fast when I'm frustrated, while on the other side, I know that hard work is necessary. And the fixed side truly believes that you are either born with it or not, that your potential is predetermined, while on the other side, we know that my efforts and attitude will determine my results. So one of you said that sometimes you are on the left and sometimes you are on the right. It would be good to catch your thoughts, because being on the left side is not helpful. Can you imagine why? Why
It's not
would
broad.
It makes you be on a particular place for a very long time. You won't grow. It's just like a
right?
place
We
of
get
not growing.
stuck. Absolutely,
Yeah.
we get stuck.
Stagnation.
We
It
yeah,
won't
we
give
need
room
that.
for growth.
Sorry, could you say that again?
I said it won't give room for growth. You will be
Right.
something will be stagnant, like you won't improve yourself. Then you stick,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. And that is what the brain was designed to do, to grow and expand, right? Actually, not growing and feeling stuck or not developing is quite stressful for the brain. So we have a brain, we have a lot of neurons, we have a lot of connections. And the question is, what do we use them for? Off the top of your head, what do we do all the time, all day long, whether we're conscious of it or not?
Come again.
Sorry?
Can you come again with the question, ma'am?
Yes, we have a lot of neurons, we have a lot of connections, synapses between our neurons. And the question is, what do we do all day long with all those neurons? Whether we are conscious of that or not, whether we are aware of that or not, what are we constantly doing in our heads?
Thinking.
Thinking what?
Making decisions.
Thinking and
Thinking.
making decisions. Sometimes we're
Even
not even
making decisions.
aware. Yeah. Well, there's something called
Thinking.
ANTs, automatic negative thoughts. We are bombarded with negative thoughts that we're not sometimes even aware of what is happening in our heads. Does it ever happen to you that you say, no, this is too difficult. Oh, no, this is going to cost a lot of money. Or no, I don't have time today. Or no, it's too hard, so I'm going to do something else, which is the art of procrastination. Have you ever caught yourself doing those things?
Yes.
Yeah, we don't like doing things that take energy and time, right? So not everything that you think is true. I know that this is a little bit, I don't know, upsetting, but not every thought is a fact. So we tend to have some thoughts that are not quite right. Have you ever caught yourself calling things, this is too hard, this is too difficult, this is going to be too time costly? Have you ever thought of those things?
Most of the time.
What happens when we label things so negatively? What happens when we put those negative labels on things or people?
Get good things out of it. Okay,
Sorry,
when we
yeah?
we tend to not achieve practically anything. We don't achieve
Right.
anything.
Right. Our energy level goes down, our wanting to do something, our drive, our motivation sinks because we see the problem, right? We have this negative bias. This is a part of our survival mechanism. We are descendants of thousands of generations of people who were pessimistic, because the optimists, when people were hiding in a cave late at night and the mammoths and the tigers were outside the cave, the optimists were in the cave and survived, and we are the descendants of those. And the optimists left the cave and were eaten by the lions. So it is true, we have this negative bias, and it would be very helpful to develop some kind of awareness that this is what we're doing in our head. We're making our own lives a little bit harder than they are. We also have this all or nothing thinking. Have you ever thought of that? Like, I'm not going to start reading this book because I don't have to finish it now. So it's either all or nothing. Have you ever caught yourself thinking that way?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, or I'm not even going to start with this because it's not going to be perfect. So it's either all perfect or nothing. So this is also quite a mistake, right? We don't need to finish everything. 80% is fine if you know of Pareto's law. Generalizing, every time you catch yourself saying things like everyone and no one and always and never and everything and nothing, all these overgeneralizations get in our way. There's always an exception to every one of those rules that we create in our heads. Also, filtering. When we filter the positive and we only focus on the negative, and then out of this negative, we make a big hole without realizing that there's so much we can rescue. The same as disqualifying the positive. Maybe something went well, maybe you succeeded in something, and instead of celebrating and using this to push you even further, what we say to ourselves is, oh yeah, I succeeded because it was easy. Or yeah, I did that right because, you know, I've done it before. So we disqualify the positive and we lower our own motivation, and our energy level also goes down. So please notice how we very quickly create catastrophic movies in our heads. Have you ever made a mistake that you thought, oh no, what did I just write? And now my boss is going to be upset and they're going to fire me and I'm going to lose my home and I'm going to end up living under a bridge. Have you ever created that horror scenario in your head in matters of seconds?
Yes, yes, I have.
Now the question is, can we catch ourselves doing that and reminding ourselves of the fact that this is not true, that this is just a trick of our minds in order to save energy, save time, and stay where we are and not venture into that fear zone. So notice emotional reasoning is a big hurdle in our way. We feel maybe demotivated, so we think then this is not worth doing. So we think that the reason, that the emotion is the reason and the cause of future action. Or we feel sad, so I think this should not be pursued. So notice that emotional reasoning, it can be a mistake. Maybe I feel sad, but I can still pursue my goal because it is important to me, and I can remind myself of why I'm doing what I'm doing. And all these musts and shoulds are also quite demotivating. I must finish this, I should be doing that. This is quite energy consuming. If we could replace that with thoughts like I could do this if I wanted, I would start now if that was my plan. But coulds and musts and shoulds are not are energy depleting, are energy vampires. So notice that there's an area in our lives that is called the circle of control. These are the things in our lives that are in our hands and that we have control over. Can you tell me some of the examples of things that you think are under our control?
I think our reaction to things is under our control. We can actually,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. I cannot blame anyone for my reaction. I choose to do that or say that or not do or say something. Absolutely. What else is under our control?
Our feelings is also under our control.
Absolutely. You know that emotions were designed to last for a maximum of 90 seconds in our body. And if you feel an emotion for longer than 90 seconds, it means that you're doing something to keep feeling it. So if you're very upset at someone and you're very angry, your body is programmed to increase adrenaline and noradrenaline and try to defend yourself or attack someone because you're angry. But the body is also designed to make this emotion go away in 90 seconds. But how often have we been angry for longer than 90 seconds? Has it ever happened to you?
Yes, it has.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. It has
Are we
happened to me
doing
before.
to
It hurts.
extend the life of that emotion? We're telling ourselves stories, right, about what happened and how terrible that person was, or that how horrible that situation was. And then when someone asks us hours later, how's your day going? We don't talk about all the things that are going well. We talk about that episode, that person that made us angry, so that we can recreate the emotion again. So you're absolutely right. Our reactions, our behavior, what we think, what we feel is in our circle of control. And then we have our circle of influence, things that we can influence but cannot control the results of what we're doing. Can you imagine any example of what could be in our circle of influence?
Yeah.
What can we influence? Although we may have no control over the results.
I think we can influence our ability or the effort we put into the work. Even though we might not have influence on the results, at least we can have influence on the ability or the quality of time and work we put into it.
Absolutely. You can decide how much energy and time you put into it. You can influence the circumstances to try to make it as successful as you can. But you're right, the result will maybe depend on other factors that are not in your control. And that is our third area, the circle of concern. That this is what Stephen Covey says in his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. These are things that concern us, but we have zero control over. Can you imagine some examples of what could be in that category?
Our life.
Our lives. Well, there are certain things that are under our control, but you're right. We have no control over when our life ends, right? It can happen, yes. But what else is there in that circle of concern over which we have zero control?
I think
I think a global pandemic.
I think how we react.
How, but I thought you said how we react was in our circle of control.
or what happened.
Sorry? I live in Germany where the weather is not particularly good most of the time. So the weather, do I have control over the weather?
No, you don't.
Does it make sense to worry and think and be upset about things that we have zero control over? So notice there are a lot of things that we have zero control over and we forget. And we spend way too much time in that circle while we should be spending our time somewhere else. So notice our circle of control, our circle of influence. Do you agree that that is where our time and energy should be spent?
I agree.
Totally.
So what can we do? Give me some tips. You told me that there is a chat box right now. I'd love to see it. If not, I'll need you to open up your mic and tell me, please, what is it that you think we can do in order to expand our circle of control and influence?
I think we can be positive and optimistic about things.
Okay. So you can interrupt those automatic negative thoughts and remind yourself of everything that can go well, of how much maybe with your time and effort things will be better in the future. Yes. What else? What else can we do to expand our areas of control and influence?
By having a growth mindset.
So that means, again, thinking about what can I learn? What can I do? What can I be better at so that my circumstances improve, so that my lifestyle, my health, my reputation, whatever, my relationships are better, right? What is in my hands? And notice when you look at all the things that are in our circle of control, that's quite a lot, isn't it? So we decide what we spend our time on. Of course, we have commitments. There may be a family, and of course, other things other than our training and professional path. But still, I just wonder whether there's anything that we might be spending time in that is not leading us towards what we want, right? So this is a model created by Martin Seligman. He is one of the big names in positive psychology. He started this new branch of psychology because when it wasn't during a speech opening a conference of the American Psychological Association, when he said, we've spent so many years focusing on disease and mental problems. Why not focus now on the people who are doing things right, on people who are leading good lives and flourishing in life? So that is how positive psychology started, analyzing and studying people who are living fulfilling lives and flourishing this sense of growing and passion for what you do is what they wanted to learn. And they found these elements that can help us. One is experience positive emotions. Can you give me some examples of positive emotions that you may feel at work or in your private lives? What are they?
Passion.
Love.
Passion,
Love is
love, yes, joy, right? Happiness. How can we expand that? How can we create circumstances where we experience more of that?
By not reacting or overthinking during certain circumstances. No, you can
Okay.
decide whether to be happy or sad about the situation. And why not be happy about it instead?
Right. So not reacting, but being proactive, choosing what we do, not simply being on automatic pilot, right? Not just doing the first thing that crosses our mind, because that is what we've always done. And also spending time with people you care about, spending time on activities that you find truly joy and that you feel passionate about. All these things will fill up your batteries so that you have more energy to tackle those things that are not so easy. So also reflecting on what we're grateful for. This is a great exercise, writing down 3 things that you're grateful for. It can be big things or very small things like somebody's smile, somebody's surprise phone call. And if you do this exercise for 12 weeks, that is writing down the 3 things that you're grateful for every day, right after you wake up or before you go to bed at night, you will greatly strengthen the RAC system, the reticular activating system. That is the one that guides your focus. So if we strengthen our focus in our minds towards the positive things, you will catch yourself having more positive thoughts more often than before. They say it takes up to 12 weeks to start seeing the effects of this very simple exercise. So engagement. This is about being in an activity, so caught up in the activity that you think you lose track of time. Have you ever been caught up in something so pleasant that you truly enjoyed so much that time flew by? You were not even aware of what happened around you. Have you ever been there?
Absolutely, many times.
Yeah, this is amazing. This is called flow, in the words of Csikszentmihalyi. There's also a book called Flow, and that is apparently the point where the brain is performing at its optimal level. We're not too challenged, we're not too stressed out, but we're also not bored. Boredom is stressful for the brain. So being engaged, and being engaged in something that is exactly at your level of skill or slightly above. So when we're slightly challenged, that is optimal. So being engaged in the activities that you enjoy, the type of relationships in our lives with friends or family or colleagues or whoever, the strong relationships that give you a sense that you are valued, that you are loved, or that you are respected, and that someone cares about you, that gives us strength and energy. Remember, people, that we are social animals. We're social creatures. We depend on others for survival. So that's a biggie. And meaning, is what you do important to you? Does it matter? If you're in the teaching profession, most probably there was some sense of transcendence, something that brought you to this area where what we do also affects other people's lives and other people's future. Am I right in assuming that? Or how do you feel about it?
Well, I feel so fulfilled being in teaching profession because I have been teaching even before before I attended my first degree. I got my first degree, so teaching is just part of me. But at the same time, I'm very conscious that I'm building people's future. So I must be conscious of that and must be conscious of what I teach and what I do as a teacher as well.
Absolutely. Because for good or for bad, you will be somebody's role model. You will be someone that they want to mimic and copy and be like, or you will be someone that they would like to avoid for the rest of their lives. So teachers have a big impact on people's lives. So meaning, the way to find out maybe what you could also be doing is identifying your strengths. When we're using our strengths is when we feel at the best, at the peak of our performance. We are at flow. So identify your strengths. There's a great assessment online that is called the VIA, the Values in Action Assessment. I think it's for free. If you want to identify your strengths in that, or I can send you the link later on. It's an amazing way to identify what is it that you do well, what is it that comes easy for you, and then do more of that. That is really fulfilling. And the A here stands for accomplishment. Do you set yourself up for success? Do you do what your strengths indicate you could be doing? And what you do, is it in accordance with your values? And when you get an accomplishment or an achievement, do you take the time to celebrate? Do you reflect back on past successes? All this helps us build the energy that we need in order to keep on going through that fear zone into our growth zone. So have you got thoughts about this model or things that are crossing your mind or a question that you'd like to ask?
Him.
Okay, I don't see any hand raised. So I would like to remind you of the fact that knowing yourself, knowing what you want to do, knowing your strengths, knowing your values is incredibly helpful at the time of planning our growth path. Also, can you give me some examples of some of the values that may be driving your behavior? You know that values give us strength, they give us a sense of direction. It's like having a compass. So give me some examples of values. We talked about growth. We talked about, you said lifelong learning. What other values can we mention?
Resilience.
Absolutely. Yes. What else?
Tolerance.
Determination. Determination.
Oh, determination. Absolutely. Integrity. Yeah. That's a big word, isn't it? Integrity, that is walking the talk, right? Doing what you say you will and behaving in a way that you say you will. So engage, support people. You're not alone. There could be mentors out there, role models, people that can help you in your development path. And set yourself goals that get you out of your comfort zone so that we go into that flow area. That means we need to do something that is slightly challenging, and there's no challenge in the comfort zone. And also set yourself up for success. And that means make it easier for you to succeed. Do you sleep well at night? Do you eat nourishing food? Do you make the time for yourself, setting priorities so that you have time for that is important to you? If you do that, you are setting the circumstances and the conditions that are in your control to help you grow in the area of your choice. Yeah. How often we do exactly the opposite. Our physical health is also important. You mentioned that as a factor in the beginning, as a challenge. And you're right. What is it that we can do to be healthier, to lead a healthier life? What kind of food, how many hours of sleep? What do I choose to do with my free time? Do you walk? Do you exercise? Is there something you can do to keep your body in top physical health so that your mind can also work along those lines? So I'd love for you, if you can, to scan this code or to type up, if you open a new window and you type up this ahaslides.com PDEDU, I would love to hear from you. First of all, your top ideas. What do you think that you got out of this conversation today? Is there any takeaway? If you cannot participate on the slide, could you please tell us, open up your mic and tell us, what have you discovered now? What have you thought of that maybe you were not thinking before that you could do so that you could embark in this journey of professional development? Would you like me to share the QR code again, or you have here the link you can type up on your phones as well? If you open a new window in your browser and you type up ahaslides.com/PDEDU, and you can send in your thoughts as to what could you do in your future that can take you closer towards that goal of growth and development.
Okay.
All
hello,
right.
Patricia.
Yes.
I think someone wants to talk. So let me, should I go ahead?
Elijah, someone is trying to speak. Maybe you should wait for her to finish. Tayo, you have the floor.
Okay. Yes. So I wanted to put in my thoughts the other time, but I was on the road, so I didn't have my headphones with me. So, yeah, for me, I learned to actually control my emotions. You know, I wanted to share my thoughts in the sense that when she was asking about what we can actually control, but we can't influence the output. So for me, I'm an overthinker, and sometimes as a teacher, you know, your students do some things to you, and you need to control your emotions, else you would, I don't know how to put it exactly, but what I've learned is no matter what they do, I should always control my emotions. Anything I can't influence, but I can control my emotions, my decisions, because it's actually going to affect you. Our decisions will affect what will happen to us in the future anyway. So I need to control my emotions.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. What helps there is, maybe it feels a little bit difficult sometimes to say control emotions, but if you're aware of your emotion, you can choose to communicate it without acting it out. So I know that sometimes people and students can do things that can drive us through the roof, but actually being able to express what we feel, it can be quite helpful. So we can say to someone, you know what, I'm pretty upset at what is happening right now. Or I feel a bit frustrated at this because what I would like is this and this and that instead. So we can use our emotions to guide and make the requests for the things that we need. But you are right, it's better not to act them out, because that things can escalate and then we can really lose control of everything that is happening in the classroom. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Who else has something to say? You can also use the chat section, drop your takeaway, drop your question, drop your contributions, and we're going to read it out for every other person. For those joining online, Facebook. I hope you got a lot from this section. You can also use the comment section and drop your takeaway, drop how you feel. So before we move to the next section, is there anyone raising a hand to ask a question? Do we still have someone that wants to ask a question? Okay. Oh, Elijah, okay, you have the floor now, Elijah. Please ask your question very quickly. Thank you.
All right. Actually, it's not a question, just my takeaway. All right. So from the program, my takeaway is that at least as humans, we tend to focus more on the negatives. Even when we do something right, instead of encouraging ourselves, we focus more on the negative. So we should put our focus. We should focus on the positive outcomes and do things that makes us happy, like hanging out with loved ones, family and friends. Doing what you love best. Doing whatever makes you happy. So with this, it will improve our professional development. So that's my takeaway. Thank you.
Wow, those are amazing last words. I think we can close on that. Amazing. I know, Elijah, thank you so much for putting it that way, because you just made a great summary. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Elijah, for sharing. And Joshua just dropped on the chat. He said, I really grabbed that one cannot attain the growth zone without moving out of the comfort zone. And it takes some process that is from comfort zone to fear zone to learning zone before the growth zone. Oh, thank you for dropping that takeaway. And for the rest of you, you can also drop. We want to read from you. We want others to also read what you got from today's section. Thank you so much, Patricia Degrees, for sharing. But before we let you go, we need everybody here to turn on their videos. We want to take a picture of this section. You will agree with me that we had a wonderful time. So please turn on your video, and media, can you do what you know how to do best? Help us get a good picture of this section, because we really had a lot of learning experience. Thank you.
Thank you. So there are some faces behind all those names that I cannot pronounce. And some great smiles.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, educators, for staying through till this time. Thank you so much, Patricia.
Thank you.
We're going to move on to the next section. But before we do that, we just want you to still go on to call your friends. Tell them, we know that a lot of them went out. For those in Nigeria, we know that a lot of them went out for Independence Day celebration, but I believe that they are home now and they can join us. So please go and call your friends, send a message. Want to give you just one second to go to your WhatsApp, go to your Facebook, call your friends, tell them it is time for the panel section. It is almost time for the panel section. And I'm very sure that a lot of them will not want to miss it. So you have just 1 second to do that.
Your own in no go take. Amen. If you define work, do your own. God self go do his own. And flesh go cover bone. Amen. Amen. If you believe it, say amen. If you believe it, say amen. If you believe it, say amen. 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 Everything you put your hand go up. Your name go open doors. You self go be a boss. Amen. Amen. Everything you put your hand go up. Your name go open doors. You self go be a boss. Amen. Amen. Sister, where one man receive.
Okay. Some of you were already dancing. I believe you've gotten a cup of water, you've taken water, and you're ready for the next section. Thank you so much for staying through. We have Edverse, and they want to pitch for us. So, Executive Director, are they ready? Do we have them now?
Yes, representative of Edverse, Mr. Temitope, can you please come on board? Director of Sales and Marketing for Edverse, Mr. Temitope Awogunyo.
I can hear you.
Okay, please come on board. You are now a co-host.
Okay, thank you so much. Permit me, because of the internet here, I might not be able to share my video all through, but I will try as much as possible to share the video. Yeah, so hold on, please.
Status. I don't come order for me already days, but I still allow. I say, Auntie, I don't know one time.
Please mute your mics. Mute your mics if you're not speaking. Please mute your mics. Thank you.
Okay, please confirm if you can hear me.
Yes, we
Yes,
can.
we can hear you. Yes.
Okay, I'll be sharing my screen right away. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much. I'm trying to record the name of the last speaker. That was an amazing section, talking about moving from the comfort zone to the having a growth mindset. That was an amazing section. I was taking notes and I was following all through. Yeah, so we are Edverse, and what we do is Edverse is a short word for educational vessel, and what we do is we work with school owners and administrators to digitize their learning and manual processes in schools. We've been doing this for over 8 years now, and we are currently in over 10 African countries and over 1,400 schools as I speak right now. Our vision is basically to reimagine education and make learning easy. And we do this, that's basically, our vision is not to sell software basically, but our vision is to make life easy for educators. And like I mentioned earlier on, we've been able to do this for over 1,400 schools, that we've been able to reduce their stress of the paper processes, reduce their stress of the manual work, and save them a lot of cost as it's regards to the paper processes in schools. And right now I mentioned the countries we are in. We want different awards, and the problem we are basically solving is the problem that revolves around the loss of data, waste of time on repetitive processes. You will agree with me that as teachers in schools, your technology kind of bringing the source of innovation, doing the same thing over and over again, but being able to do it in a different way. You know, somebody once said that doing the same thing, and you can't be doing the same thing and expect to get different results. And it defines it as insanity. If you're expecting to get different results and you are doing the same thing, it will regard it as insanity. So basically, the problem we are solving is for you to be innovative in what you're doing. We provide a platform that gives you access, a lot of benefit for the schools, things like school bills, expenses, the revenue of the school, the payroll management, the calendar system. All of this process has been automated for schools. And apart from that, the hostel management aspect of the school, things like report and analytics, secured inventory system, health management system, transport management system, and the system also send birthday and anniversary notifications to students on their birthdays on our platform. So the platform is beneficial for the teachers in terms of result management, attendance, taking of lesson notes, online assessment of learners. This is a new term, as at the time when schools were completed the last term, a lot of schools on the platform were able to compute results with ease on our platform. Parents get notification of results via SMS, via email on the platform, and communication with schools has become seamless. I'm a parent. I get to travel a lot, and because of the way I travel, most of the time I might not get access to this hard copy communication reports from my child. So most of the time, my child's school just send notifications to me via SMS, via email on the portal, and see what is going on with my child, and it makes it quite easier. You have access to things like like we're having a virtual section right now. You can have a virtual section with your class students on the platform on Edverse, because we see right now the work environment is moving to hybrid, remote, and some other things. We've seen students that are even now learning remotely. It's going to amaze you, because some students want to learn from the best of school, but they don't just have probably the proximity to that particular place. Doesn't allow them to go there. But with a platform like this, you can schedule a video conference section with them on the platform, and you'll be able to engage them beyond the four walls of the classroom. The benefits are endless for the student in terms of result management, homework, e-testing, things like CBT, class notes, and so on and so forth on the platform. Apart from that, we have the benefits of the platform. We've benefit of the platform for the parents in terms of student enrollment, school fee payments. Currently, we've been able to integrate our platform with Flutterwave, Paystack, and some other things where parents can pay their school fee payments online using their cards or bank transfer into the school accounts. Then we won different awards doing what we do. And recently, Olon IQ listed us as one of the top 50 African EdTech companies that are able to work with school owners to reduce their stress of these manual processes. And it's, like I mentioned, it's not just, it's more than just a software for us. We have some community social responsibility that we have done for schools. Every year we do this Edverse Catalyst. If you've heard about it before, you know that it's always a big and major one for us, where we bring in educators together to teach them. This year was on learning outcomes, where we did it in June. It was a very, very major event that a lot of, in fact, over 3,000 educators were present in that event. Then we do this monthly School Growth Academy, which I'm also going to show you some of these things. That every month there's always a topic we pick in, we bring in different people to learn, and that is because for us it's not just more, it's more than just selling. Somebody will ask me what is different between Edverse and any other software, and I tell them every time, we don't just sell to you. We make sure that as you use our software, we inculcate the growth mindset, like she was saying earlier on, with a blend of the technology. You are developing yourself in how to do one thing or the other. And there was a time we even had this upskill program where we were able to teach teachers on how to create videos, animation, and some other things on our platform. Yeah, so Edverse is a very, very lovely platform. And it's something that, let me show you. One of the basic things you need to use Edverse is just the internet. Just have an internet, maybe a data connection, a computer, a laptop, or a tablet. And in fact, on the Edverse, we have some other lovely things you have access to. Things like the past question by Edverse, where if you log in on our platform, we now have for free, you can have access, your student, especially the higher level, access to things like GCE, WAEC, JAM past questions on our platform to practice, just to test how they're doing before they write the main exam. We just recently partnered with University of Colorado Boulder, where right now, very soon on Edverse, any school that is on our platform will be able to have access to PhET interactive simulations for free on our platform. These are some of the things we are also doing to make life easy for schools. Apart from that, we just also partnered with Clump to make sure that schools, parents that couldn't pay school fee at once on our platform can have access to make payments over a period of some months. And they pay the Clump Play school at once, and the parent get to be paying in installment to this particular service provider. Just us thinking outside the box on how to also make sure that the customers of our customers, which are the parents, also make sure that they have access to things with ease on the in terms of payment collection. These are some of the programs I mentioned that we did. Last 2 months we did financial management for school and school growth and improvements. That was in August. This month we did using simulation to enhance team. Previous months we've done different programs and so on. And on Edverse, if you're also going to be referring schools to us, you're going to have access to the minimum a teacher can make when you are referring the school to us is 20,000 around the school, where you get, if the school have more than 100 students, you get to have 10% commission on their subscription. So the minimum you are making on any school referred to us is 20,000. And apart from that, if you're a school owner here and you're ready to subscribe, my number is displayed on the screen. And apart from that, I don't know I can't see the chat box here, but if you also want to subscribe, you can go to www.edvest.net or just reach out to me on this number on WhatsApp, or reach out to via the hosts of this event. Tell them you want to subscribe to Edvest. So www.edvest.net/book demo. So that you could reach out, and for you to be on this program, we are going to be giving you a 50% discount off our setup and training fee, which is going to be ending on the 5th. The promo offer will end on the 5th of November. So because you're on this platform, you want to subscribe to Edvest, you want to start using it to make your learning, to manage your learning, to manage your school administration. This is the period, because you are on this particular program, we are going to be giving you that particular discount. Just let us know that you participated in the program. If you want to subscribe, we will give you that particular leverage because you are on this program. So this is our phone number, and I will, if you want to subscribe, maybe I'll also, I can't see the chat box right now. I wanted to post the link in the chat box, but I will make the link also, maybe I'll make it available for you so that you can also have access to subscribe via the link. So thank you so much for having us. I don't know if you have any question in the comment box for us on Edvest, maybe anything that you would like to know concerning Edvest that you couldn't know. If you have any question for us, and we
the link has been
not
dropped
just
on
in
the
Nigeria.
chat box. The link has been dropped on the chat box.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for dropping the link. Yeah, so you can also reach out to this number on WhatsApp, or just copy the number. We'll respond to you. And because you are in this program, because of Mr. Ola, is one of, so he likes to promote this growth mindsets, technology, and we are always glad to support his programs, because we know teachers and educators that are joining this program are innovative and growth, forward and upwardly mobile thinking educators. So thank you so much for joining.
Somebody is asking, somebody's asking how much is the software. Somebody is asking in the comment box. I don't know why you cannot see the comment box, but somebody is asking how much is the software.
Okay, so the from 500 naira per student termly to 2,000 naira per student termly, based on the package you are going for. The Edvest is a world-class brand. Like I mentioned to you, we are not just in Nigeria, we are in Tanzania, we are in Kigali, we are in like 10 different African countries. So if you look at this, you see it's 500 naira per student termly, and our term ranges for 4 months. And we have features you have access to on the light plan. On the standard plan, you have access to the light features, for the standard features. On the premium plan, you have access to all these features. And we have this initial one-off setup and training fee, which if you are coming on board through this segment, I'm giving you the 50% of the one-off setup and training fee, because you are coming on board through this particular segment. So you could choose to start with either of this plan and upgrade to the next as you proceed on the platform. I don't know if you get that.
Yes, they can reach out to me as well. There's somebody saying from Liberia too. That they want to partake from Liberia.
From Liberia, we also I will share you the pricing plan for Liberia. Yeah, so I think you should reach out to Mr. Ola, Mr. Adiola, so that we could just.
Okay, we will drop we will drop the links on the Telegram page and then the WhatsApp page as well. So you can reach out to me if you want to be part of Edvest or you want to know more about it. Reach out to me. I will link you up with Edvest. Thank you so much. We thank you so much, Edvest. Edvest are key partners for this program. Thank you so much for always being part. So over to you now, the moderator.
All right. Thank you so much, Edvest. For every of Edvest catalysts that I've attended, there's always value. Thank you for all you do. We're moving straight to the panel section. And to anchor the panel section, we have Oluwaseun Kayode, the CEO of Schoolika. Oluwaseun, please, are you here?
Yes, I'm with you. Can you hear me?
Very well, very well. We can hear you. So we're going to move straight to the panel section, and Oluwaseun Kayode, you have the section, you have the floor. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Joy. Thank you so much, everyone. Can you see me, please? Because it looks like the lighting here is not that good, but can you see me at least?
Yes, we can see you.
Yes,
We can see
yes,
you.
we
Okay.
can.
All right.
We
I'm
can
sorry
see
for
you.
sorry for the background noise if you're hearing any, because I'm currently in a place that is a bit noisy, but I'm really looking forward to an amazing time this evening having conversation. So I'm really excited to be hosting, or not hosting per se, but moderating this panel session with amazing educators on the panel list. And as you all know, I'm sure this is a session that many people have been waiting for to be a part of. The session title is a very interesting one. It is Impact and Learning Beyond the Classroom. I'm sure we all know about these catchphrases that we all share: beyond the classroom, the four walls of the classroom, all of those things that we all talk about. And this is a catchphrase, right? But really, I think in this session, we'll really learn what beyond the classroom actually means. And of course, what impact and learning beyond the classroom is. And before we get into the conversation, of course, you need to know those who will be sharing with us. And so I'll quickly go ahead to introduce our panelists to us. I have first on the list here, Mohammed Aidin. I'm not sure if I pronounced that name correctly, but for anyone who I didn't pronounce their name correctly tonight, please forgive me in advance. So I'm going to quickly, give a brief introduction of who Mohammed is. So Mohammed is an English language teacher at Anatolian High School. He is among the top 50 finalists for the Global Teacher Prize. We used to call the Global Teacher Prize actually the Grammy Awards for educators. And he was among the top 50. And he's here. He was chosen from among 8,200 teachers from over 121 countries who applied for the prize. He's the winner of the titles Teacher of the Year, the Inspiring Teacher of the Year, and the Outstanding Teacher of the Year. Wow, amazing. In 2021 and 2022 in Turkey and across the globe. So please, with a round of applause, you can use your reactions. And you can use the chat box as well. Please give Mr. Mohammed a round of applause and welcome him on board. All right, I can see claps here and there. I can see reactions here and there. Amazing, amazing, awesome, good. So let me quickly go ahead and introduce you. Thank you very much. So we have someone here, someone really interesting. Her name is Stella Gima Labi. Stella Gima is a proud teacher. She's a trainer. She's a teacher's development consultant and an international keynote speaker and a writer. I have a thing for writers, by the way. She's the founder of Youngsters and Teachers Hub. Her works includes teaching, consultancy, training, inspiring sessions, grooming and assisting to create strategies in areas of youngsters and teacher development. She runs Skills on the Go, an initiative to push women and girls. So please, with a round of applause again, let's welcome Stella Gima Labi from Ghana. Yes,
Stella, welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Stella.
Welcome, Stella.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. All right, good. So I'm going to be very fast because we have limited time. I have Trust Mutekwa from Zimbabwe.
Trust is not available. Trust is not available. I think we can say that we can be fast.
Okay, all right then. So is Mr. Sheyani Foshi available?
Yes, he's here.
All right, so of course, so I'm going to quickly read Mr. Shey's bio. He's currently the Director of Strategic Partnerships at 1 Million Teachers in Canada, as well as the Business Development Manager at Seba Learning Hub in Abuja. He has garnered experience as a school principal, head of department, classroom teacher, and currently is a project coordinator for Patotomi Teacher Scholarship Program, where they are delivering training to more than 60,000 teachers across 6 states in Nigeria. That's amazing. That's massive. And he's the author of the book, Let There Be Teachers. So a round of applause for Mr. Sheyi from Nigeria. And then we have Rania Lampo from Greece. Is Rania around? I think I saw her. Yeah, she is. Yes, Rania is around. So Rania Lampo is a global educator, STEM instructor, ICT teacher trainer, neuroeducation researcher, international keynote speaker, author of scientific book for kids and global peace ambassador in Greece. Wow, an amazing profile. So she has a postgraduate degree, a master's actually in language teaching. She's also a STEM instructor at the Greek Astronomy and Space Company, and she's also working at the Greek Ministry of Education at the Directorate of Educational Technology. So please, with a round of applause, let's welcome Rania Lampo to the session this evening. Very quickly, we are going to be introducing the convener who needs no introduction, who's also going to be on the panel. Mr. Olaleko himself, Adeola. He's the founder of 3D Africa Youth Organization, a community-based organization. He has led youth to carry out engaged community projects in over 20 African countries, mobilizing more than 700 young people to engage their local communities through SDGs program. He has created over 10 SDGs club in his local community, and I've also taught over 10 schools talking about SDGs 4 or SDG 4, quality education to students, teachers, and education administrators. Recently mobilized over 6 teachers in 4 states in Nigeria to kick against examination malpractice and promote academic excellence through the School Reach Africa project. So a round of applause for our convener himself. Welcome, Mr. Olaleko. All right, good. And our final panelist for the day is Fuang around, Akim Fuang.
No, she's not around. She's not around.
All right. So good. So I think we can move ahead then into the session proper. Welcome, our panelists. It's such a pleasure to have you here. It's late in the evening, not really late, but it's around 8:21 p.m. in Lagos, Nigeria. And I'm sure for some of you are joining from other parts of the world. Thank you very much for taking our time to be here. So I have my first question here. Mr. I don't know, Ms. Joy, I don't know if you can help me check the chat box, because I don't also have access to the chat box. If you can also help me check chat box if there are questions that are coming in.
Yes,
there.
I'll do that. I'll do that.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right, so I have my first question here. And that's a statement I mentioned earlier. Like there's a catchphrase we threw around in education, which we used to say beyond the 4 walls of the classroom, beyond the 4 walls of the classroom, beyond the 4 walls of the classroom. And nowadays, many classrooms aren't even within walls. There are no walls for many classrooms, right? Especially with the rate at which, tech is being adopted in learning recently. So I would like to ask, and I'm going to be starting from Rania. I would like to ask you, how will you define the catchphrase beyond the 4 walls of the classroom in these days that we live now?
First of all, warm greetings from Greece. I'm very, very excited and very honored to be invited to this great event. I would like to congratulate Emerald Concert and Services for the organization of this event, and I warmly thank you for the invitation. So first of all, I would like to say that curriculum teaching and learning already extends well beyond the classroom and will continue to do so. And as education changes to suit the future needs, the role of a teacher must adapt and grow. So it's teachers' responsibility to empower students to take risks, to be innovative and seize any opportunity thrown their way. So learning beyond the classroom, we could say that actually takes the child out of the educational closet and places them directly into the real world. So students have been found to better grasp skills and concepts that are presented to them directly in the context. When we talk about hands-on, because this allows them to reach an entirely new level of understanding. So this classroom actually, of course, increases creativity and experimentation and exposure. Unlike unconventional teaching methods, students are more involved in real-life learning activities when, for instance, they practice outside learning, because they're able to observe, to think critically and experiment. We talk about life skills because with hands-on methods for teaching, students have an intellectual capacity widened, enabling them to make life applications of the things they learn. And this kind of learning environment fosters innovative thinking and the emergence of new solutions for our world. Of course, let's not forget the social skills, especially in times of COVID pandemic. We have seen how this is important even during online learning, how learning went beyond the classroom because it was actually online. And we have seen that social distancing, it was only physical, it shouldn't lead to isolation. This also includes experiential learning. And when we talk about ways to practice this learning, of course, this could be learning outside the classroom, that could be field trips, that could be extracurriculum activities, and open-ended learning, and of course, interaction. So the purpose actually of the school is to prepare students for life beyond school, because today's society has a higher demand of self-awareness and more specialized skills. And one of the easiest ways is to help the students by incorporate experiential, what we call experiential learning. So taking a classroom outside can help enrich students' educational experience by showing them authentic application of the theories that they are learning at school, so they can become out-of-the-box thinkers, and this would help them, provide them with a challenging, exciting, and different experiences in order to help to learn better. I think that we as educators now, we have to assume multiple roles. We're not anymore.
Let me cut you there, Rania, because I believe you're already doing a keynote already, right? Thank you so much for sharing. Like, you shared a whole lot of mind-blowing things, and you shared around the fact that this is really around experiential learning. It's really around building children to become creative thinkers who will think outside of the box. It's really around the life application of the skills that they've learned in the classroom. You talked about all those fantastic things and amazing things, right? And I think I agree with you when you say, taking children out of the classroom actually help them become all of those things that you mentioned. So I'm going to stop right there, and I'm still going to come back to you, Rania, right? But I want to go over to Mr. Oluwaseyi. Mr. Oluwaseyi, very quickly, right? So can you share with us what you think, beyond the classroom walls are? Yeah.
All right, good evening, everyone from Lagos, Nigeria. I'm currently in Lagos, and I thank you for putting this together. Beyond the classroom, I'm sorry, please forgive the background noise, forgive me for the background noise. So, but I'm sure you can hear me perfectly. Now,
perfectly well.
The future is usually seen in the concept of time and space. We normally see the future. When we talk of future, we talk of tomorrow, we talk of next week, we talk of next year, we talk of 20 years. And, the future is not a psychological construct. The future is not a philosophical construct. And let me give you an example. I'm a part of a planning committee for the alumni of my school. The secondary school I went to will be 25 years next year. So we're planning for an alumni program, and I'm part of the planning committee. And during one of our meetings, we decided to honor one of the teachers, and all of us unanimously agreed on one Mr. Fasenloro. You see how vivid I pronounce his name. The name has never left me. So we decided to honor Mr. Fasenloro. Mr. Fasenloro, unfortunately, is late, but we all agreed that we need to honor Mr. Fasenloro. And in a meeting of over 2 hours, we were talking about Mr. Fasenloro, and we were laughing. We were talking about the many things that Mr. Fasenloro did for all of us. And then someone then asked the question, it shouldn't only be Mr. Fasenloro that we should celebrate. There were other teachers, we should celebrate them. And guess what? At the mention of any teacher, someone else has something to say that the teacher did that you could never forget. Unfortunately, negative. All right. And then so the conversation was about 2 or 3 hours. And after the conversation, I said, let me say this because I am a teacher and I wish teachers will know this. And so back to your question, Mr. Sheon, the future beyond the classroom is living in the future today. Beyond the classroom is paying attention to the child in your class, because that child is a child that will live in the future, is a child that is 20 years, 30 years, someone. You see, greatness is not in doing great things, but great commitment to little things. You look at the child in your class, you think it's just a child. But guess what? That child is a future. I normally say that teachers are custodians of the future. So as a teacher, you must understand that in your classroom are not 1, 2, 3 just children. In your classroom are a group of students, a group of children that belong to the future. And so beyond the classroom is living in the future today. Beyond the classroom is paying attention to the future today. Beyond the classroom is living in the reality of the future today. Thank you.
Please, I was expecting fire emojis to be flying here and there, right? So because I think Mr. Oluwaseyi has raised the roof, right? You know, with a lot of, I mean, thank you so much. That was amazing. And I think that, I mean, if there are things I will really draw out from what you've just shared, Mr. Oluwaseyi, is the fact that you said, you know, beyond the classroom really is actually paying attention to the children that you have currently in the classroom, and not just seeing them as the children in your classroom or the students on your registration list, but as the future that is already in your classroom today. And how do you want your future to be? So the way you want your future to be as an educator is what you're already looking at in the classroom. What you do today in the classroom is you really painting your picture. And thank you so much, Mr. Oluwaseyi. That was really powerful. Thank you so much for sharing. Because we have limited time, I want to rush very quickly. I have this question for you, and I'm going to you, Sarah, if you are still on the call. Okay, yeah, Sarah, you're still on the call. In your work so far, you know, looking at what Mr. Oluwaseyi has shared and what Rani has shared, in your work so far, Stella, how have you been able to create impact and make learning happen beyond the classroom? And what are the outcome of this effort on the learners? I know you work with teachers as well. Is there a way in your classroom or in your work with teachers that you've been able to create impact and make learning happen beyond the classroom? We would like to hear what your experience is like.
Wow, it's amazing. I'm excited to be here this evening. And when he was talking, the speaker who just finished, I was smiling because this is really thought-provoking. Beyond the classroom is the future. And so taking it from that angle and the impact that I look at, wherever I find myself, whatever classroom I find myself, I look at the children beyond that space, because for effective learning to take place, learners have a role to play, parents have a role to play, the community have a role to play, as well as other stakeholders. And so if we want effective learning, if we want to have holistic development of a child, then it is not all about what we do in the classroom with them, but going the extra mile to even visit them in their homes, going the extra mile to enroll them on other programs, and going the extra mile to see to the social development as well as the emotional development of each and every child. And so from where I set my angle, one of the major impacts that I can really point to is that over the years, I've not just focused on the classroom, because I feel that the classroom is quite limited for me. So after spending those 8 hours with a child in the classroom, what do? Follow up. Get to the homes of the learners. Get to know their friends. Get to know what they engage in when they leave the classroom. And as you do that, you will know your learners better. You will know the areas that you have to pay much attention to. You will know what to do in bringing out your assessment and even the techniques that you would use when you are teaching. And so it's really important that is on the call. We have to look at the role of others and our major role, not just in the classroom, but even outside the classroom, to see to the holistic development of the children. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stella. I mean, thank you so much. Are there rounds of applause? I can't see anything coming up or popping up for Stella, but that was such a powerful share. And I think one thing that struck me really is you talking about the kids. And then you were saying that as educators, right, what we need to do is really to follow up with kids, get to know their friends. You know, there's this concept of teaching as leadership that I studied around 2 years ago. And one of that concept is you need to invest in your students and invest in their families. As educators, how well do you know the families where your students are coming out from? Because even if you don't know them well, you're not able to connect with them proper and then be able to help them, you know, achieve higher learning outcomes. So thank you so much, Stella, for sharing. I think this is very helpful. Thank you for sharing your experience as well, and how you've been able to engage these learners even outside of the classroom, outside of the 8 hours of learning in the classroom. So I'll quickly go very quickly to Mr. Adeola. I have a question for you, sir. I know you've done a lot of work around SDGs, and really you've been taking learning outside the classroom for educators, for students, for young people generally. I just want to ask you, sir, what are the challenges that you've encountered so far in trying to create an impact outside the classroom and making learning happen for students outside the classroom? You're muted.
Okay, thank you so much, moderator. Let me say I'm excited about this topic because really what the mindset behind this topic is we want to see educators move just from the classroom setting to there are a lot of things that we can do beyond what our jurisdiction, and of course that could make lasting impact not only on our lives, on our school, our community, and the globe entirely. Now, over the years, I have faced a lot of challenges. Let me start with my working place. Of course, as a teacher, when you start innovating to see how things can become better, one of the things you face is even your peers. Some of them begin to look at, why is this person doing like this? And then, of course, some people want to misconstrue what you are doing for trying to get cheap popularity and the likes. So it's one of the things that is very, very important. But of course, over the time, I have been able to do something, make people go along with what I see. And then for my students, some of them think, sometimes during the holiday, I take classes online. So sometimes you have an hybrid classes. I remember when I wanted to introduce hybrid classes in my classroom, the management said, we are not used to this thing, And then of course you notice that in education system, if teachers are not used to something, they want to rebuff it immediately. But of course, one of the things is that I have to present that thing well. In fact, the school management needed to say, all teachers, let's see how this person will carry out what he intends to do. I needed to connect my student to South Africa, to a particular teacher. And of course, they were learning STEM activities from Mr. Steve Chairman from South Africa. And then of course, everybody was saying, oh, wow, we didn't know this can happen. Then of course, that helped me to help them use Empathico to connect to their classroom. I trained them on that. And of course, another challenges again that I have faced is number two, finance. Sometimes when you want to take some things, you want to take innovation, you need a whole lot of money. And then of course, I understand that a lot of teachers are earning little. And then of course, some of them will be thinking, mean that I'm earning a little amount, how do I do this? That is why the commitment level comes in. When you have an impact mindset, there is nothing you cannot do beyond the classroom. The mindset is very, very important. And of course, your goal and ambition as educator. Why I always ask educators this question: why are you in the education field? Why are you teaching? Why are you in that classroom that they put you in? If those questions are not well answered, sometimes getting to do beyond your jurisdiction becomes a problem or a burden. And that is why you see a lot of teachers see impact and learning beyond the classroom as a burden. Now, for me, I do not see it as a burden. I see it as a privilege that I am shaping the lives of people, lives of students, lives of my community. So whatever challenges I'm doing, it is not for today, but for the future. So I am impacting the future. I am remodeling the future. Teachers are remodelers of the future. And of course, the power that you have with you is that you have the instrument to wield the future the way you want it. So most of the time, I challenge teachers that view the future of your student, of your community, of the education sector, the way you are dreaming to be, even when we are not a teacher yet. And then, of course, we get to take steps towards it. So finance is usually a problem, but I've been able to solve that because where there is ideas, where there is innovation, where there is will, there is always a way. Where there is will, there is always a way. So I have always found my way around it. In fact, sometimes I usually go to what's it called? People, I want to do this. I have seen a case where the management saw that I had passion for impact, and they said we will support you with what you are doing. So finance could be what's it called? When you're introducing something new, people, because of that mindset, people may want to rebuff it. And of course, your own knowledge. Your own knowledge limitations is also a challenge. I see that as a challenge because if you are not knowledgeable about impacts and what you could do beyond the classroom, that could be a limitation or a challenge on its own. Let me not waste our time. When I have more time, I will.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I hear finance being a major issue, but one thing that you mentioned that I think we should also more buttress on is the fact that, educators feeling like, there's this imposter syndrome, when you want to do something amazing, but you can't do it because you don't want people to say that your own is too much, or you feel like you're not capable enough to do it, or you feel like doing it. So, Mr. Sunday, I don't know if you can mute yourself, or if you can. Okay, I think I'm a host as well. I can mute people. So I mean, people just feel they're really, because when I was teaching as well, I had educators who had amazing ideas, but just to take that leap, they couldn't for years until they started seeing some of the young teachers like us starting to do some exciting things, and they wanted to follow suit, but they had ideas in their head, but they were not able to because the system itself is not a system that promotes innovation. And so if they're trying to bring innovation, they feel like the outlier. They feel like the odd one. But here is a challenge or a motivation to everyone on this call today. You can be the outlier if it is for positive. So if it's for the positive reasons, be the outlier. I'm motivating you today. Be the outlier. Do something different. Introduce innovation in your classroom. Try to get things and do things much more differently, and then you start seeing the result. All right, so we are at time already. But of course, before we go, I don't know, Ms. Joy, please, can you help me check if you have questions from the audience for the panelists?
Yes. There is a question that I would like to read out.
Okay, please go ahead.
Sorry, let me get the question I had to do. Okay, so someone dropped in the chat box that how can a rural teacher maintain or retain his integrity or determination considering the constraints he or she may face, before getting to the school, such as the distance to the school, security factor, the villager syndrome on their farm, eve of the market day, and so on and so forth. So someone is asking, probably he stays in the rural area of his country, and is asking how he can maintain his determination. And the next question there is insufficient or inavailability of the academic materials for the learners. So how can he mitigate that challenge? And finally, how can he also mitigate the challenge of communication barriers?
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. I think the questions are around finance and communication, really.
Exactly.
How to get finance for resources and how to, get finance to be able to do all these amazing things. And also around communication barriers. So I'm throwing it open. Who would like to share? Rania, do you have thoughts on that?
Yes, yes, I would like to share my own experiences. Well, I'm a founder of an international project, humanitarian project, Space Sustainable Development Goals. First one was about water awareness, and it was addressed to students and the privileged students in Africa, in Asia, and especially Malawi. So we talk about students who didn't have any school supplies at all. Students who had to walk about 90 minutes to find clean water to drink. So how to teach about water awareness to these students. Didn't have any financial aid from any company this period. However, I designed a program which was tailored to their needs. I mean, I asked them to use natural resources for their activities. For instance, students, they created mind maps using branches of trees, and they made amazing STEM activities using only natural resources. And children were very, very enthusiastic, and the impact was great because we managed to obtain filtering sanitation equipment, and 6 wells were drilled in areas where Malawi children had to walk about, as I said before, 90 minutes to find clean water to drink. Second project was in India. It was about food awareness and how to help the privileged children to make healthy combinations in case of food shortage. And this inspired teachers who visited slums, educated their families, they donated money to students, etc. Another one is about gender-based violence awareness, which actually combines, it's in Nigeria, it was implemented in Nigeria. It was inspired by high rates of gender-based violence there. And what I want to say is that even there are financial challenges, always, yes, teachers have these challenges. I think we can find ways to work miracles. The power of networking is very important. When I launched my first program without having any, as I said before, sponsor at all, in 2 weeks, 2,000 teachers were registered, and over 200 1,000 students were registered. So the power of networking is important. And about challenges, I want to say also, when I started, I had the chance to participate in an innovative program organized by CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research. And it was very pioneering because I had to teach particle physics to primary school students. So the first challenge was parents who told me that I don't want my child to learn particle physics and so difficult abstract concepts at this age. So I had to make many pedagogical arrangements and pedagogical discussions and to convince me about the value of STEM. And at the end of the year, when they saw the amazing arts and crafts that students have done, they all my students told me that I want to be a physicist, I want to go to CERN. They realized this value. Other challenge was I had to work with underprivileged children here in Greece. So I had to pay from my own pocket the material, even the Lego cardboard, anything I was paid from my own pocket. And also I had to redesign the curriculum because particle physics and general physics is not included in the curriculum of the primary education. Of course, I want to talk with, I am STEM instructor, you can understand, when we work with underprivileged children, we don't have here in Greece technological equipment and this possibility. Even though I didn't have technological equipment, always I try to adopt the STEM Unplugged, so using simply everyday materials that we can find in our house. So children did amazing things that were very creative and very innovative using these simple materials. I want to say that even if we don't have financial support, we can do miracles. This project that I'm telling about CERN now have received so far over 200 awards.
Amazing, amazing. Over 200 awards.
Without technology, because here in Greece, I work with these children.
Wow. Amazing. Can you hear that, guys? Without technology, she has won over 200 awards for what she does, for what she has done. She's, yeah? Can you hear
I
me?
would love to also share something about that, about what the person asked.
So, okay, all right, good. I'm going to come back to you because I want you to wrap this up, but I want Mr. Oluwaseyi to quickly share on the communication barrier because he has delivered training to more than 60,000 teachers across 6 states in Nigeria. And we know even within Nigeria, there are hundreds of languages spoken in this country. And we know even some of our educators, how some of them, in fact, to communicate in English language can be a challenge. But how have you been able to break down the barriers of communication for you to be able to deliver this quality of learning to these educators?
All right, so thank you. I just very, very quick. You see, I was going to approach the question from a different perspective, but interesting one, Rania, for what you're doing, quite interesting. And so what I believe, you see, where they say that where there is a will, there is a way. There is nothing that is impossible. If you want to reach out to people, what is key is that people can see your heart, all right? People can see the passion that you carry. People can see what you want to do. And when people see that, you can communicate what you want to tell them just by not saying anything at all, but to be very practical. Now, when you go to a particular place, communication barriers on new education policies and curriculum. And so what you need to do is to look out for people in the community, at least, in Nigeria today, where I'm using Nigeria as an instance. So in Nigeria today, we've been able to, English has been able to spread to many communities. So at least you will see one person that can speak your language. I served in Jos, for instance, and I lived in the community of people that speak the language Birom, okay? And I began to learn Birom because I love the people. And so because I love the people, we were able to relate with one another. Do you understand? And so bottom line is when people can see the heart that you carry, you will be able to reach out to them. But most importantly, you can actually see the language that they speak. You can find 1 or 2 people. You can go online. You can use Google Translator. There are other things that you can do. But most importantly, I don't know if I've been able to answer the question.
Amazing, you've been able to answer it. I mean, one thing that struck out is when there's a will, there's a way. Another powerful quote from Rania is the fact that you don't need money to create magic. You don't need money to do amazing things, right? So thank you so much for sharing. I'll quickly go to Stella to share her thoughts on this, on these questions that they've raised from the audience. And then I'll circle back to you, Adiola, who will wrap it up, tonight. So are you there, Stella? Can you go ahead to share your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm here. Okay, so let me add my voice to the issue of the communication. Now I have friends all over, and the interesting part is that some of them don't speak English at all. But then anytime we are communicating, I have the Spanish app, I have the Turkish app, I have the French app. In fact, I've got all the apps. So anytime I want to communicate with them, we communicate and the barrier is not even seen. The only time that you're going to see a barrier is where we are having a Zoom call. And even with a Zoom call, we always make sure there is somebody around to help with translation. And that has been super. 2 months ago, I was in Argentina, and I spoke to over 30,000 teachers. Now, over there, the interesting part is in one of their province, Tucumán, about 70% of the teachers, I have to check my statistics, do not speak English. I have to check my statistics, but it was amazing because they didn't really understand the English. However, what my translator did was that we turned my presentation to Spanish. So we translated my slides to Spanish, and then as I was speaking in English, she was translating in Spanish, and the slides also had English as well as Spanish. And there was no point in time that I felt there was a barrier because the people were receptive and then the communication was just flowing. And so the borderline here, what I want to say is that there'll be times that we will feel there's going to be barrier, but where there is a will, there is always a way. Where there's a will, there's always a way, and we can go out there and touch the teachers and touch whoever we want to touch to, whether we understand their language or not. And it starts with us getting acquainted to technology. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you. I hope you guys are taking notes. My notes is getting filled up here. I mean, it's been a lot that's been shared here tonight. Thank you so much for sharing. So, Adeola, over to you to help us wrap, this conversation up with your own thoughts.
Okay. Thank you.
So before Adeola, there's a question. This person is asking a question on motivation. So she's saying, or he's saying, Favor is saying that how do you get to teach pupils or students that seem not to be interested in what you're doing and you really want to make an impact? So is there something
I think I can
say about that?
Yeah. Okay, someone wants to help on that.
Yeah, yes. and I'll come in on that too.
Yeah, interesting. You see, looks like we're not going home tonight.
This is Oluwaseyi. I believe one word for teaching, another word for teaching is relationship. When your students have a good relationship with you, they will have a relationship with what you're bringing on board. You see, you must understand that as a teacher, you are a mediator. As a teacher, you are the bridge between the information you're passing through and the student. And when they cannot access you, they cannot access what you're bringing to them. So you must understand that creating a relationship is core to teaching. You must understand that your personality is core to teaching. You must understand that students need to love you. Students need to like you. They need to find you as someone they can trust before they can trust what you're bringing on board. It is not what you're teaching them. A quote says that teaching is not about what you teach, it is about who you teach. Okay, so your emphasis is about who before the what. Most teachers focus on what and they forget the who. You see, many students are going through a whole lot of things. There are issues in their homes, there are issues with their personal lives, and they have emotional challenges. Until you solve those challenges, they can't listen to you. And those challenges cannot be solved if they can't find love in you. So as a teacher, you must show love to students. You must make yourself acceptable. You must make yourself a being that they can lean on. You are now a father, a mother to them, and so it becomes easier for them to accept whatever you are telling them. I should allow other people to jump on that.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. I think Stella,
I want to come in quickly.
Very quickly, Stella. Very quickly.
Okay. Yeah. So Adio spoke about relationship. I'll speak about individualism. One of the basic ways of getting the students to really enjoy you or to move along with you is when you individualize the lesson. Yeah. And so in an English class, you are making them read a story and then you're analyzing the story. See, not all of them understand what you are doing, but one of the basic tried and tested mechanism that I've used is making them translate the stories in ways they understand. It can either be pictorially, It can either be through dramatization, it can either be through music, it can either be through poetry.
Yeah.
And so once you individualize the lesson, there is no way that your learners will not seem to understand, because you meet each of them at various points of need. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Stella. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for sharing. Guys, looks like the best was reserved to the end too. So Adiola, over to you to, share your own thoughts on this very quickly, Adiola, very quickly. You're still muted. You're muted, Adiola. You're muted. Can you hear me?
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, so I said I really want to appreciate everyone that has spoken. There are a lot of questions that are coming in. I can see questions on the chat box. But what we are saying in essence is in terms of not listening to you, like John Maxwell, we say that you need to win a heart before you request for a hand. You need to win the heart before you request for a hand. That means that before you request that they should cooperate with you, win their hearts. I'm so fortunate that I have learned this at the start of my career. Virtually almost all students like me naturally. Why? Because I come down to your level and then I relate with you. Most of my students, I know their parents, I know their best subject, their best food, what they do every single time. So I know them personally. In fact, some of the things they are not able to tell their parents, they come to me personally to talk to me. So if they can find that confidence, if they can find that relationship with you, the truth of the matter is when you get to class, you won't want to leave again. And that's what I've been. In fact, it get to a point, the management need to call me that I am choking other teachers. Because when I enter the class, the student do not want me to leave again. So it got to that point, I need to tell them, my period is just 40 minutes. You still student, you have to let me go. So it's so enjoyable. So building relationships is very important. And like I've said, in terms of finance, that you want to do impact across board. For me, money is never an issue. Our passion and drive is. How long are we ready to stay put until that our goal is achieved? And then, of course, someone talked about the power of network. As a teacher in the 21st century now, you need to be well connected. And sometimes when I was opening this conference, I told there were about 100 to 120 participants in the first day. I told them that one of the things you need to start doing for yourself right from the conference is to network with people, because there is no idea that if an idea do not have people to support it, it will just remain an idea. There is no motion to back it. So it is very important that as educators, 21st century educators, start making important connections. I get to know most teachers that are on this panel session via Facebook. I reached out to them in their DMs and say, oh, Renia, I remember I mentioned Renia. I sent her a text on Facebook. Mr. Sheyi, the same thing. When I see you are doing great things in the education field, I will have to reach out to you. And from there, I've been able to pull a whole lot of network across 190 countries in the world. So as 21st century teachers, your ideas are good and are valid, but you need teachers like you. You need collaboration. Collaboration is the currency for development. Without collaboration, there can't be development. There can't be actualization of dreams. So it is quite important for you as educators now, start making collaboration. There are things that will not be possible if you do not collaborate with other teachers. So you said money is never the problem. Sometimes Edverse gave us some, Edverse as our partner now, we're able to do this program because we have a lot of support. And how do I do that? I said, oh, a teacher introduced me to Edverse. And then of course, we started from there. So networking and collaboration are key major things that you need to do to begin to actualize your dream. As a random, when we say beyond the classroom, impact and learning, it means two things. Learning can take place beyond the classroom. That means that as a teacher, you need to begin to innovate ways to make sure that your learning is not restricted to the classroom alone. Students do not learn when you are in the classroom alone. I have done that several times. Another verb that you need to begin to use technology. I practice 2 teaching methodology now. That is the flipped classroom and the blended learning. In my flipped classroom now, all my students have my digital notes, they have my slides, they have my videos of the lessons to take. So during the holiday, they would have gone through it. I do not teach again. We discuss topics. We discuss subject matters. We discuss them. So in that way, I am not the author and omega of my classroom. Is a collaborative learning, because the students have made researches from what I've given them. Now they are coming to me. We are now beginning to discuss. So I have made learning beyond the classroom because I have made sure that I involve technology and new teaching methodology. Then in terms of impact, I have made impact beyond the classroom. Why? Because I see that there is a need in my community to meet. There is a challenge in my country to succumb. So I have made myself available to see that beyond my classroom, my community needs me. So as educators, you must understand that beyond the classroom, your school needs you. Beyond the classroom, your community needs you. Beyond the classroom, your country needs you. And then begin to think of what way you can give back to your country, your community, and your school that will better their lives and also better whatever you are doing around. So these are important points we need to take home tonight. There are a lot to do in terms of learning beyond the classroom. There are a lot of impact you can make right beyond your classroom. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Adeola. And thank you so much, everyone on the panel. This has been a mind-blowing session. There are a lot of nuggets dropped, a lot of wisdom shared, a lot of solutions to challenges. And I think right now we are really unstoppable, and we should all feel ready to go out there and do amazing things outside the classroom. Create magic outside your classroom. Make your learners, achieve higher learning outcomes outside your classroom. And very important, let them be able to apply the skills they've learned to, the real life application. And remember, money is not a challenge. Communication, if there's a will, there's a way. Technology can help a lot. And even without technology, Rania won 200 awards. So you can do 1,000 awards, with the little technology you have. So thank you so much, everyone. It's been an amazing time discussing tonight. And I'll be handling the session back to Joy. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Oluwaseyi Karede, for that section. We really learned a lot. And because of time, we're not going to stay longer. We're going to invite the executive director for the conference announcement.
Okay, we have spent a lot of time. There are a lot of questions that are still that have not been answered. The director of programs she's unavailable as absent today. She dropped. You can reach out to admin@emeraldeduconceptandservices.com or DOP. I will drop the link on the Telegram page. I will drop the link to the Telegram page. If there are questions that you think that you need for us to answer, as any of the panelists, we'll send the link, drop the question, we'll forward it to them. They will forward it back and we'll put it on the Telegram platform. So we are sorry a lot for all of you that you cannot answer your questions, and we are so sorry. We'll give the link out so you can give your question. Now, tomorrow is going to be the grand finale of the conference. We have been able to do a lot. I know you have learned a lot, and we are going to be having Keisha Thorpe. Keisha spoke to me tonight. He said she won't be able to join the session tonight. She wanted to be here. I told her she will go to the YouTube channel to watch. She said she will watch, and then she will give her feedback about this session tomorrow. Keisha will be here live tomorrow to talk about another thing entirely, a journey into being the Global Teacher Prize winner 2021, and of course to inspire us as educators to really go beyond the classroom to impact our world. And then of course, she's the cover of our upcoming magazine, The Nation Builder. The Nation Builder magazine is for educators, and this is the first educator-centered magazine in Africa. The first educator-centered magazine in Africa. I'm so excited about that magazine. We put in a whole lot of work. And of course, I'm excited. We are finally going to launch it tomorrow, God willing. So The magazine is going to be on Amazon, is on currently on Amazon KDB, is on seller.co.uk, and is on our website. You can go and get the magazine. So we'll be giving a lot of, tomorrow is going to be wonderful. We are going to be having a live session, a music session live. We are going to be having spoken word. We are going to be, for the grand finale, we are going to be having comedy session, a teacher like us cracking us up. We are going to be having important guests to come around for the session. So I want to see all of you there. And of course, we want to say thank you to all our partners and all our sponsors for this program. For those that could not join, you can go to the YouTube channel. This session is live on YouTube, on Facebook, live currently. So you can watch all the replays as well. So of course, as our part of Beyond the Classroom, to start making sure educators begin to take action, we are going to be launching a project tomorrow called the School Reach Africa Project. The School Reach Africa Project. We did a pilot of that project this year. We are about 7 educators went to 4 states in Nigeria, and they reached out to about 927 students, teaching them about, advocating about examination malpractice, academics excellence, and the like. So by the grace of God, we're going to be launching the project fully tomorrow. And then of course, starting from next week, you can begin to apply to be part of the volunteers for the project. And then you're going to be reaching out to schools in Africa. It's going to be an exciting project for all educators. I'm so glad about that too as well. So a lot of exciting things we're going to tell you tomorrow. And then of course, in one way again, we want to teach teachers technology. We have what is called the Digital Educator Program. So the Digital Educator Program is for teachers to learn simple technology they can use in and beyond the classroom as well. So these are ways that we are contributing to see that our teachers are doing amazing stuff beyond the classroom. So tomorrow you're going to hear about a whole lot. Tomorrow is the grand finale. We are starting by 5 p.m. Nigeria time, GMT, 5 p.m. GMT. I want everybody to be here. Make sure you tell everybody, home and abroad, in Greece. Of course, Rania is hearing me. Tell them in Greece that there's a grand finale tomorrow. Stella, tell them in Ghana. Teacher, tell them in Zimbabwe. Dr. Patricia, tell them in Zimbabwe. Jane, tell them in Malawi. Tell them everywhere that it's a grand finale that is happening tomorrow. And we're going to be sharing a whole lot. Thank you, everyone, for being part of tonight's session. I want to appreciate all of you. Thank you to all the panelists. You are so amazing. I want this to continue, but we have a time frame. I enjoy the conversation. It's real. And of course, I think we're going to create a platform to do this kind of conversation. We really need it. Teachers really need it. Thank you so much again, once again, and God bless you. So, Joy, you can end the meeting. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. This is from Joy Ifeanyi. I'm so excited to have moderated today's section. Thank you all for joining, and thank you for staying till the end. We hope that you've learned a lot. And during the professional development section, a lot of us said money was a problem to getting professional development. Because of this program, a lot of sponsors have decided to give us slots for us to learn and leverage on. So please, Schoolinka is there for you. Go and get some of the courses free of charge because you are a participant. And we also have one of our panelists, Oluwa, sorry, let me be sure. Okay, one of our panelists, yes, the one that wrote Let There Be Teachers. His book is available for us. So we want to say, leverage the opportunity you have now and get all the freebies that you can. Thank you so much. And see you tomorrow. Bye.
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 Yes, you can.
Until where they find begin, one day you go born twins. Amen. Amen. They're not wait on losing job. Landlord come they do like God. One day you go be landlord. Amen. Amen. Good news go locate you. Watch and see it no go take. If you believe it, say amen. No. Amen. Amen. Everything you put your hand go up, your name go open door. go be a boss. Amen. Amen. Everything you put your hand go walk. Your name go open doors. You self go be a boss. Amen. Amen. Long life go